Hello, you are listening to the Parenting NI podcast, a monthly podcast from Northern Ireland's leading parenting support charity, where we look at topics in relation to parenting, explore the research, and discuss tips on whatever the chosen subject may be. Please continue to help us spread the word, share it with your friends, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, and give us a wee rating and a review while you're there. If you can, we'd really appreciate it. So enjoy this month's episode. Thanks, bye. So this month's episode is all about reading. Earlier in the month it was Children's Book Day, and that got us thinking about our favourite books in childhood. As Emily Botchwald notes, children are made readers in the laps of their parents, but it's not always easy. Maybe you struggle to find the time to read with your children, or your children don't seem that interested in books, or maybe you're not a keen reader yourself. But in this episode we're going to have a bit of discussion around reading and the benefits that it has for your children's development. And this is one that I'm keen to get involved with because as an English literature graduate, I should have a lot to say about this. I'm joined by Lauren as well this week.
Hi Emma.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. Do you want to maybe introduce yourself, Lauren, and a wee bit about your role in Parenting NI?
Yeah. So my name is Lauren Walls and my role is a few different diverse roles. But my role is one of the education and participation officers. So mainly I would be out and about meeting parent groups and getting their views and opinions on different policy and legislation change within Northern Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
My other role would be to develop and deliver training, mainly our OCN level 4.
Yeah.
We're in working with parents training and other practitioner training. Yeah.
Awesome, yeah.
Which I feel quite passionately about.
Yes, absolutely. And our OCN level 4 will be starting again soon, is that correct?
1st of May. So if anyone listening to this is interested, give me a shout. We'll get you hooked up.
Yes, get in touch. So you can check out our website for that. It's listed under the professionals section in accredited training, so you can give that a wee look up.
Definitely.
And get in touch with Lauren. So Lauren, reading, are you a reader?
I am. Love reading. Now I have to say, not very, my guilty pleasure is Irish fiction.
Well, sure, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
That's good. That's
love
good.
it.
So you're a keen reader yourself. I actually, last year I set myself a challenge because I love reading, obviously. I did my degree in reading pretty much. But I found over the last while I had gotten really distracted from it, and I think nowadays you're kind of what do you want to watch on Netflix or all these streaming services or you're on your phone, and I'm on screens a lot because of what I do. But I just thought, right, let's get back to reading. I set myself a challenge of reading a book a month, and I did it last year, and I'm aiming to keep going with it this year and hopefully increase it, maybe 2 a month this year.
Go you.
What about your experience of reading with your own kids?
Well, I have two children.
Mm-hmm.
One is nearly 16 and one who will be 5 next week.
Oh, there you go. You've got a wee bit
so
of
quite
age
diverse. So
yeah.
The older one, sure, he'd laugh me out of the room if I said, "Come on, I'll read you a story." But I was always keen to get them into reading. So from a very early age, from they were newborns, I used to read to them. From they were and that's important too. They say research shows if you read to your child while you're pregnant in the 3rd trimester, there's research showing that it improves the bond between mother and baby. But I used to, as soon as they were born, I started reading to them. Anything, and I think it's all about the tone of voice as well. But anyway, with the older son, he used to love Roald Dahl, and he still does. He actually still does. He's moved on a wee bit, and he would be into, I can't remember the name, but I had to order him the whole box set. So I did. He's a guy.
So I do hope he has kind of like a
read them, like,
yeah.
and he loved the whole Percy Jackson kind of book sets.
Yeah.
He's read all them, and he's moved on, and it's all these mad, like, it's not Lord of the Rings, it's that type, but it's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he would still read, and I would try and encourage him to. Now I don't know if he does, you know, to come off his computer and come off the phones and come off kind of the Netflix type thing, and try and read even for half an hour before bed.
Yeah.
He tells me he does, but whether he does or not's another thing. But with the younger we get Miss Bethany, sure, she's just a wee dote. Sure, she would have you reading all day, every day to her, and she was we done exactly the same with her as we did with him. So every night she'll shout down just, right, I'm even before bedtime, I'm ready for bed, come on up and do my story.
Yeah, she looks forward to it.
She really looks forward to it. So she has like a big box of books and a big bag of books, and she carries around a bag with her favourite ones. So she would want every night you to read one of them ones. She'll pick one every night. But then we started introducing Roald Dahl to her books. I'm a big fan of Roald Dahl. And so her favourite is George's Marvellous Medicine. So she brought it into school. So then it was a fight between what chapter I was reading and what chapter the teacher's reading. But she does enjoy. She enjoys reading it, and I feel it builds for our relationship. Yeah. Because it's something, you know, we do it. It's not, we would do it anywhere, you know. If she brings a book home out of the library, we'll do it sitting on the sofa or whatever. But up in bed, it's the two of us get cuddled up in her bed and we'll read it together.
It's nice time together too. Yeah.
And then she's learning to read. She's primary 1, so she's learning to read, and you can see her trying to sound out some of the words. You know, the easier words.
Okay, no, that's good. I mean, I remember as a child as well, like, I remember, now my mummy would have read to us as well, but my daddy would have came home, that was like RV time with daddy, he came up and read us a story. And like, yeah, I do, I think my love of books did come from those early childhood experiences, you know, because I mean, I loved all those, like My Naughty Little Sister and you know, Harry McClary from Donaldson's Dairy.
That's one of our Bethany's favourite. I enjoy reading that one. I like that rhyming thing.
Yeah, and I think that really captures kids too, because it's like it's all easy to remember. Yeah. But yeah, and then I moved on to like Harry Potter and all, because I'm a big Harry Potter nerd. But those,
I hear you. Yeah. So is Miss Bethany, a real Harry Potter, and we started reading the first one. I think the first one would be okay for her, but I think after that she might struggle for attention. Yeah. But even on World Book, that's what she dressed up as on World Book Day, because she's Hermione Granger's biggest fan.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah. That's something that's quite, like, I know maybe it's not that great because it's more expensive time for parents in terms of getting like costumes and all organised, but it's quite good that schools try and do those sort of things to engage kids in reading and in books and stories.
But they do as well. I remember when she was in nursery, they done the Big Bedtime Read.
No, don't know about that.
So it was set up, I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on it, but it was set up to encourage parents and children reading together. So in their nursery, what they done was they had an evening and they brought like a famous storyteller out to read a bedtime story to the parents and children. And then they had, you know, like before you read your story, you know, like a wee, not a supper, but like they had, you know, like a wee drink of milk and a bit of toast and a wee biscuit or something like that, and a wee cup of tea for the mummies and daddies. And all the kids went in their jammies with their wee house coats and brought their favourite teddy, and they could bring their favourite book with them too. And then the storyteller read the story.
Oh, that's brilliant.
But it was the Big Bedtime Read, but it was to encourage parents and children to read together. So it was encouraging us then to read more to our children, and children to kind of get parents to read to them, and they were all able to go. I think they all got a wee book to bring home with them and stuff.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So maybe in that vein, you've kind of talked a wee bit about how you read with your own children, and that, I suppose, is maybe you've dotted a few wee tips in there around like around how to get
having the childcare cap on.
So would you have any tips for parents when it comes to reading with their children, like how they could engage them a wee bit more in books? Maybe if you've got a child who's a bit of a reluctant reader. A reluctant reader.
I knew what you meant, so I didn't even correct you. I suppose, you know, what works for me maybe isn't going to necessarily work for another family. So I think you have to do what works for you, and I always say that to anyone I meet, or you know, if I'm working with parents, whether I'm working with children, or whether I'm working with practitioners, I say you have to do what works for you and the child.
Yeah.
You know, and I've said in my house what works for us is doing it at bedtime, and that's our bedtime routine is, you know, brush the teeth, shower, teeth, and then story for bed. But you know, other times sometimes if we pay a visit to the library and we get books out, Miss Bethany, she wants to read them, all 5 of them then and there, and you're nearly going, please only let her get 3 out this time. You know,
like, what's next?
But I suppose what I would be saying is pick a time that suits you and suits the child. There's no point doing it if you're in a rush to get the dinner on and you're rushing through a story and it's doing your head in, because the child will pick up on that really. So pick a time where you have 10 or 15 minutes, because research shows as well, even 10 minutes a day reading with your child makes a big impact.
It doesn't need to be a lot of
time.
And
you know, it doesn't have to be hours. So pick a time when you have like a spare 15 minutes and say, come on, we'll do a wee story, or, you know, try and get them away from TV, tablets, the screens.
As challenging as that can be, but that's...
And then that works with younger children, I suppose. With older children, I found, because I'm a reader, and I think I get that from my mummy, because my mummy was always a reader, and we were always in the library, or we were always in bookshops, or you know, and she always read to us. So maybe it's setting in it, you know, teenagers kind of learn by example too, and maybe encouraging them a half an hour before bed to say, right, the biggest thing for us in our house doesn't always work, is that we try and say no kind of screen time half an hour before bed, and it's to allow him to kind of calm and wind down and stuff, you know. We did try the whole leave it outside the bedroom door, leave it in the kitchen, and it worked, and then we got a wee bit lackadaisy. So he could be telling me spoofs.
No, I do.
But that for teenagers, that's what we would kind of do, you know, have a wee read, because I always say to him as well, he thinks he struggles with English, and he doesn't. He's absolutely fantastic. But reading as a teenager, it's going to build in your vocabulary, and you'll know this anyway, being an English literature graduate. I never knew that. I learned something new. No, that's brilliant. And I always say to him, that's going to build. That will really, really help with your English and your creativity.
Yeah, it definitely does. Absolutely. I mean, I remember as a child as well. I mean, I feel like I always talk in this podcast about my childhood ambitions, but
is that what you wanted to be?
Well, my first one was wanting to be on the radio, which is what this kind of sort of fulfills that a little bit for me. Tick. But because I was so obsessed with books, I remember when, like, because I would have had younger cousins always around me and my sister, two of the oldest siblings in the family, and because I was obsessed with books, I used to write like wee books for them.
Aww.
And then instead of reading like normal stories, I would have wrote the story and like illustrate it in the wee notebook and all, like done wee drawings, and then would have read it to them. I know.
Oh, Emma, that's so lovely.
What a wee nerd.
That was, when I was younger, I always wanted to meet Shirley Hughes.
Oh yeah.
I did. She was, when I was younger, she would have been my most favourite. I still have all, like from when I was a child, we still have all our books.
Yeah.
From when. And they're ours, and I would have read them to Katie and Bethany. And then I bought, you know, the big book of all of them.
Yes.
But it was my aunt, because my aunt was a librarian, you see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So she always would have brought us.
So it's really passed down through the family.
Yeah. And we used to love going to her house, because it was like a library. There was books everywhere.
Oh, lovely. That's class. So what about the benefits then? What would you see as the main benefit, or what is research? I mean, we know research tells us a lot about the benefits for children's development and things.
Yeah. For me, the biggest thing is, well, when you talk about children's development, it supports all areas of development, like their social skills, because you're reading with them, and if you involve them in the book, you know, getting them to pick a book, when you read it, asking them questions about it and getting them involved. So you're really promoting first then their communication and language skills, because it's helping them to get to know sounds, what way to put their mouth when they're developing their speaking skills, words, language, all areas of development, and then for brain development as well, because it's giving them a better understanding of the world around them as well too, and preparing them to understand the written word, especially then when they're starting preschool, nursery, and getting into primary. But for me personally, the biggest benefit I found, now this is in my own personal opinion, is the bonding
between
you and your child, or you and your children, even if you were doing it as a group. But you know, I was quite lucky because I have a teenager and then I have a young daughter, so I was quite lucky to be able to have that individual bonding time with them. So that's just our time. That's like mummy and daughter time, or mummy and son time, as it was then. So to be able, you know, it's your turn to pick the book tonight, or it's my turn to pick the book tonight, and reading it. And now my youngest has got to the stage where she's nearly wanting to read, because she's learning to read and sounding out the words, which has, to me, has helped her, because I've started now pointing to the words as we're reading them, and she's sounding them out. So it's helping her with her education as well in school, you know, for that kind of the reading within school. So when you look at her reading record, excellent reading, so she's all delighted when she gets these stickers and these remarks, like, you know. But to me, it's down to that early reading as well, and giving her a love for books and reading.
Just a wee note as well, we did talk quite a lot about at the start how there are challenges to reading with your children as well. I had a wee look on the Book Trust's website, there's quite a good few resources on there that you can have a wee look at, and that also offers hints and tips for if you have a child with a disability or additional needs, which are really useful too. So you can go and check out their website and have a wee look at that.
Can I also say, Emma, as well too, I'm a big fan and advocate of the libraries, and using your local library as well. Like, we would use our library all the time, so well, and it's brilliant because it's absolutely free to join. And when you bring your children to join for the first time, they do like wee packs for them and stuff, and they get their own wee library card. Now they only, well, I suppose it is an advantage, but children can pick, I think it's up to 9 books. So our Bethany's walking out with ladles of books, and I'm going, she wants to read all of these now. So remember, be warned. But their website's absolutely fantastic too, because it goes through each library and what they have on daily. Like some of our library would do like a rhyme time, and then on a Thursday evening they do story time. So you can bring them up. You know, when she was younger, I would have brought her up in her jammies. If she's that wee bit older now, she wouldn't do that. But you know, we go up for story time as well, which is absolutely fantastic. But anyway, their websites usually advertise what's on, and they also do like top tips for like reading to your child and at babies, kind of primary school age and then teenage years as well.
Fantastic.
But there's a quote, can I read out a quote from one of them? Richard Steele, the quote's from, and he says, reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body. So think about that one.
Superb.
And look after your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And that ties in quite nicely, because next month on the podcast we're going to be talking about exercise. So look at that. What a superb quote.
I have used my mind and zoomed in there, Emma.
You have indeed. And also we'll have an interview coming up with some of the ladies from Libraries NI as well.
Wow.
So you'll be able to get a bit more insight into your local libraries too. So
I look forward to listening to that interview, definitely.
So we'll hear from Libraries NI very shortly, but as Lauren mentioned there about exercise and next month's episode of the podcast being all about exercise, I thought it was a good opportunity here to mention that we will be running in the team relay of this year's Belfast City Marathon. It's on Sunday the 5th of May this year, and it's got a brand new route which is starting at Stormont. It's supposedly flatter, and that's where I will be kicking off the relay there. I'll be the first runner, and I'm actually really looking forward to it. So if you are out supporting all the runners on Sunday the 5th of May, please look out for our purple t-shirts and give us a wee wave and a cheer. And if you would like to support us, and you can do so, you can make a wee donation, and you can do that at localgiving.org/appeal/team PNI relay. And that actually leads me on to some other news, which is very exciting. Our brand new app is now available on iOS and Android. So it's been on Android for a wee while, but you can now get it on the App Store for Apple devices too, which is great. And the app offers tips and topics such as children's emotional well-being and managing behaviour. It explores parenting styles and includes an interactive game you can play with your children. And we're really keen to make it even bigger and better, adding more tools to it. and going some way to make sure that every parent has access to help at their fingertips. So any money that we do raise from the donations given to the local Giving Appeal for the marathon relay will be going towards helping us further develop the app. So if you can support us in any way, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And if you would like to download the app, you just search for Parenting NI in whatever app store your device uses. Now, I am in Lisburn City Library this afternoon and I'm joined by Valerie Christie. How are you, Valerie?
I'm very well, thank you. You're very welcome.
Thank you. It's a lovely library here, and I'm going to be talking to Valerie today about some of the services that libraries offer and how parents and families can benefit from them in Northern Ireland. So, Valerie, do you want to tell us just a little bit about your role here in Lisburn City Library?
Yes, I'm based in Lisburn City Library, but my role is I'm the Senior Children's Services Manager, so I've got responsibility for children's services across Libraries NI, which is across the province.
Fantastic.
And children's services are from birth up to 16 years.
Okay. Great. And can you tell me a wee bit about, actually we had someone on earlier in the episode who were real advocate and loved coming to the library with their children. They mentioned some of the things that they would attend with their children, but could you maybe tell us a wee bit more about what parents can benefit from here?
The whole image of libraries has changed greatly in the last 10, 15 years. And when people associate libraries with the whole shush culture where you have to come in and be really quiet and it's used for studying and nothing else, has long since gone. In this library where we are today, we're very lucky that there's a separate children's library, but in other libraries that don't have this facility, there are separate children's areas. As I said, it's for children from birth to up to 16 years. So for preschool children, we obviously have lots of books, board books and picture books. But one of our services perhaps one of our most popular services is Rhythm and Rhyme.
Yes.
And Rhythm and Rhyme runs in nearly all of our libraries with different frequency depending on the opening hours and the size of the library, and it's where parents and children, babies and toddlers, can come along and share rhymes and stories, and they do songs and they shake musical instruments and generally have a jolly good time.
Yeah, it's really good. I've actually I've been at a few events with Libraries NI and they've ran the Rhythm and Rhyme sessions for us and they're fantastic. They're really good fun. You can see the wee babies and the children get so much out of it, and the parents too.
Yes, they do. Yes, for parents as well. A recent study has shown, in Essex libraries have shown that attending Rhythm and Rhyme was a boost for maternal mental health.
Fantastic.
And you know that ladies who come to Rhythm and Rhyme have made the effort. Perhaps they're not feeling so good, and they've made the effort on a cold or wet morning to get up and get a baby out or a toddler out and get themselves out as well.
Yeah.
And then when they're here, or when they're in any library, as well as the learning benefits for the child, there's the whole social benefit for mums as well. And traditional nursery rhymes, the ones that have been going around forever, sort of went out of vogue for a while, but they've all come back into fashion.
Okay.
So some mums who are here might not be familiar with the traditional ones. So as well as the children learning them, the parents learn them as well.
Picking up some new ones
as well, and learn how to share these with their children. I'm saying mums here, but of course that is quite remiss of me, because there are dads and grannies and grandparents and other adults in a caring role who bring children along. So it's a very diverse group of
Yes.
people who attend, which is really great.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's lovely. And as you say, I mean, something that's great about stories and reading books, and when parents read them with and the children, is that just time together.
The bonding time.
The bonding time.
The bonding time, which is very special. And, instilling a love of books from an early age. The research has shown that can be developed, and it will stick with a child right through their school years and beyond.
Yes. And so what about some of the other things, Valerie, that the libraries would do then for families?
Yes. As children get older, we provide story time.
Yeah.
That's for 4 to 8-year-old children, or family story time, where everyone's welcome to come along.
Yeah.
Probably our biggest promotional event is over the summer, and that is called the Big Summer Read.
Oh yes.
And it runs again in all libraries throughout July and August, and children are invited to come in and challenge themselves to read any number of books they wish over the summer. They have a little record card, and when they've read the book, they come and they're returning the book to the library. The record card gets stamped, and then at the end of the summer, or when they reach their target of books, they're awarded with a certificate.
Oh, very good.
So that's very nice.
Yeah, it's a nice achievement.
It's a nice achievement, and it's something that they can also put into their personal folder in school. So a lot of them will come and say, "Do you see my certificate?" And I'm going to give it to my teacher when I get back to school and sit down. And I'm sure for some of them it's probably one of the first certificates they will they'll be given.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, there are storytime sessions and storytime and craft sessions and other events to support the Big Summer Read. So it really is a festival of reading that goes on throughout July and August, and it's free because all library services are free. Rhythm and Rhyme, which we've just been talking about, is also free, and for children to join, they just need the parent to come in and complete a form. In order to do that, they have to bring some form of ID, be it a driving license or a passport or a utility bill with a current address on it, and they can borrow, children and adults can borrow up to 9 items for up to 3 weeks.
Yeah, very good, fantastic. So there you go. It's easy to register then at your local library. You can just call in with your ID, your child, and you can sign up at your local library. Do you want to give us the web address too?
Yes, the web address is www.librariesni.org.uk. We have a children's page on our website, which is divided into 3 sections. The Rubber Dub Hub, which is for preschool children, and it gives book recommendations and ideas for parents on how to share books. There's a section when a book helps, so there are recommended titles for dealing with let's just say difficult situations. A child starting school, going to the dentist, going to the doctor for the first time, dealing with bereavement. So there's a recommended list for that, and also a list of parenting books for adults. The next one up is the Kids Hub, which would really be for primary school children, and then the Teen Hub for teenagers as well. So that's all available on that Libraries NI. Yes,
brilliant.
Online.
Great, okay, so you can go on and check that out. Thank you very much for chatting to me today, Valerie. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So there you are. Before we sign off for this month, here's a quick recap of some of the things that you might take away from this month's episode. So it can be difficult to concentrate or to find the time to dedicate to reading with your child. Everybody's leading really busy lives, and you've got other stuff going on that can make it difficult to do it. But just remember, 10 minutes each day can make a real difference. Research says you don't need to spend an awful lot of time. Just 10 minutes a day can really help. So as well, as much as some people might enjoy reading, others may not enjoy it at all, or may have other difficulties with reading. And in those cases, don't worry, you can still enjoy just spending time together with your child, maybe looking through picture books or making up a story with your child. And singing and nursery rhymes are another way that you can also help support your children's literacy skills. Check out what activities and support is available in your area as well, maybe through your child's school or through your local library with Libraries NI. And of course, you can always contact us for any parenting support that you need. You can call us on free phone 0808 8010 722 or visit our website at parentingni.org. And on there, you'll also find the article that accompanies this podcast on there, and that looks at, in more depth at the research around reading with your children. So if you're interested in that, hit it up in the news section. I'll talk to you again next month. For now, take care, and I'll chat to you then. Bye.